I'm dead.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to a little bit of a special episode of Balls Out Sports Podcast. This is actually um our first ever soccer edition of this Balls Out Sports Podcast. Y'all have heard us talk about football before. This is our first time um switching it up a little bit, talking about not just some stuff that a lot of Americans tend to watch, but we're gonna try and reach a little bit overseas here and wow some people with our football knowledge. Um,
Absolutely.
just for the purpose of us being in America, though, we are going to refer to it as soccer. Sorry if that triggers anyone, but that's how it's going to be here on BOSP. And
That's how you pronounce it anyway.
right there you go. Yeah, there's someone who doesn't care about making people mad. But anywho,
I do. It's just if Mexico asks, that's the only thing I care about. But
right, right. Um, yeah, this game that we saw yesterday, this Champions League game, um, is what made me realize that I was on the phone with Trip and we were talking about it and made me realize, damn, like we could add this to the YouTube. I feel like uh we're knowledgeable enough. Believe it or not, soccer is actually the first sport I ever played as a youth. Uh, let's see, ages 3 to 10, and then ages 15 to 18. I played some soccer.
there you
Uh,
go.
So yeah, but it's definitely the sport that I want to say I've probably spent the most time watching. Ever since a little kid, my dad telling me about all the greats. Being in France, obviously, I'm hearing about the people from before, but I'm hearing in present time of Thierry Henry. I'm hearing in present time of Zinedine Zidane. Um, I'm hearing about this new young kid up in Manchester, uh, which at the time I didn't know who he was going to become, but that ended up being Ronaldo. Yeah, this little kid in Barcelona, that's messy now. So yeah, that was the first sport that I started watching personally. Um, what really got me into sports.
Yeah, I think it was like one of the last because I was playing it and I tried to make that transition to American football and that didn't end up so well. So I went back and that was like high school. And that's when FIFA was like huge. FIFA 13, 14, 15. And then
hmm
that took over pretty much everything. So, and it's been
I,
kind
I
of like
was
that
I, I
since,
was
but
the opposite of you. I was playing PES. How you pronounce Pez? Pez?
Pez,
Pez?
sheesh. I
Yeah,
didn't know you were playing Pez.
dude. I was playing Pez with Olympique Lyonnais, Lyon. Um,
Leo,
absolute fire squad to play with. Not gonna lie. Back in
man,
like 04, 05 maybe.
Pez is the only place you can play with the Brazilian national team now, too. They don't have it on, and it's not even called FIFA anymore. It's FC.
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
EA did not. They were not able to reach a contract with the game. With
FIFA.
or no, EA was not able to reach a contract with FIFA. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
hmm
I think FIFA wanted EA to pay like an insane amount, and EA was like, "Yeah, we're just not going to do that."
Wouldn't doubt it. Wouldn't doubt it at all.
hmm Well, the
Um,
FIFA likes their money, so
Absolutely. Absolutely.
yeah. So let's dig into this game from yesterday. You're the one wearing a Madrid jersey, bro. What are your first thoughts on why Madrid was able to dominate in the way that they did?
City suck. As of right now, that's a big part of it, which makes me very happy that they just can't seem to figure it out. They lost Rodri like early in the season,
Mm-hmm.
and that's been like the biggest thing for them um, with everything. Like with a team like City, you have to have that midfield that can flow. And like if you look at all their goals, like majority of them are in the box and they're a pass that's backwards. Like basically just trying to catch the keeper off guard, like type of.
Right.
I mean, it's Pep.
It's going to be like build up plays where they get deep into the opponent's
Hmm.
side, and yeah, or it's either that or it's Holland, which
Yeah,
obviously he hasn't been
and
playing for them recently. Um,
yeah, no, he didn't play in the game yesterday. Really weird. Don't really know what's going on with that, but it just seems like they kind of hit a wall with their success. Like they got to a point where they were so good that they got Holland, and once you get Holland, you kind of expect like everything to keep going like the way it's going, but just
mhm.
injuries and they've just had some questionable pickups in the transfer market. Um, with like who they're getting and everything. It kind of just seems like they're at a point where they don't know what to do, and they're just trying to like last second before the season's done with fix it. And
Right. And I'm never trying to question an all-time great, especially not one of the caliber of Pep's. Um, but why why do you bench Holland in the Champions League like this? Because I mean, if I'm not mistaken, it was 3-1 aggregate, right?
hmm no,
Yeah, it was
aggregate was
after the first game. So it's not like
oh
it's
yeah
unwinnable, It's not like you're trying to save him
yeah.
for something else.
Mhm.
So
And I know they're not sitting too good in the Premier League table.
right, right.
I think they're top 10, but they're fourth. Never mind. What am I talking about? But not a comfortable fourth. They got Bournemouth right behind them, Chelsea right behind them, and Newcastle right behind them, all within a game.
Hmm.
But and then if you keep going all the way down to
Yeah,
15, there's my team.
that is not a comfortable.
No, not a comfortable four. Yeah, this is one of United's worst seasons, and I don't even know how long or what the statistic on that was. But no, let's focus back on the better team. uh, they just played better.
For those, since the audience doesn't know this, but Trip here is actually a huge Manchester United fan.
Hmm.
So just having to talk about City right there for the first 5 minutes, um, you guys may not know it, but it truly hurt him on the inside. He is, yeah, he does not like Manchester City at all. But
I don't
yes,
think.
keep going.
I, I don't think. I think they're like the Chiefs of the like America. Like when they were on top and everything, nobody necessarily liked them because
Right.
everybody knows how they got there. But we won't go further into that. I'm just glad that they're out. They're not in the Champions League anymore. Um, Pep is seemingly on the decline a little bit, which is kind of crazy to say, but I'm here for it because it's been so long, man. Everybody's happy that Philadelphia won the Super Bowl for a reason. It's the same thing applies over here.
Right, but so here's the thing with sports fandom. Real Madrid won the Champions League last year, correct? Without Mbappe.
Yeah.
And
Well,
then they add Mbappe,
yeah,
and if they start winning a couple of Champions Leagues, people are going to start getting pissed at them. It's like
yeah.
because
Well,
here's one thing that people hate even more than than a winning team. It's a winning team that has all the good people on, you know?
yeah.
Because like if you think about it, have you ever heard a single person on this planet ever complain about, man, those 2003, those 2004 Detroit Pistons? They're so annoying. I hated them. Like, no, they didn't have a single all-star on the team, dang near, apart from Chauncey, right?
Yeah.
And they just cooked, you know?
Oh,
So
Wallace. Wasn't
so
Wallace there?
yeah, but I don't think he was an all-star.
Probably wasn't, but it's still been Wallace.
That's the thing. Like there are, I guess I would say no all NBA players because you're gonna have
Yeah.
all NBA defensive team, a couple of those with the two Wallaces.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, to bring it back to soccer, if there's one thing that people hate more than Real Madrid, it's the Galacticos. It's when you put four superstars on Real Madrid. And right
Hmm.
now, I mean, we're at three of those. We're at three. Like, if no,
You
we
could
have,
say you
yeah,
could say four, honestly.
yeah. The only reason why the other ones aren't as much of superstars is just because they play on Madrid with arguably the biggest superstars
Hmm.
on the planet. I mean, I don't know if there's a British name in soccer that's bigger than Jude Bellingham.
No, there really
Don't
isn't. You could
don't know if
argue
there's
Harry
a French.
Kane, but
Right, right. I mean, 5 years ago, 100%.
yeah, oh yeah, yeah,
But that's the thing. You can't think about 5 years ago because how old was Jude 5 years ago? You know,
yeah. It to have been like 17 or something. I think
right?
he's 22, but nah. I think no,
He
I
is
got it right.
21.
21. Wow.
Yeah. So he was chilling in high school.
Yeah, crazy how that works.
So yeah, I mean, as I was saying, Jude Bellingham, one of the biggest names in British football. Kyllian MBappe, one of the biggest names in French football, and those are two of the biggest,
Yeah, you could,
soccer countries in the world. And you could even say Vinny with Brazil as well.
and Rodrigo. Yeah, they're both Brazilian.
100%. That's the only reason why I didn't put Rodrigo as that fourth superstar is just because Vinny just so happens to play on both the teams Rodrigo plays, and not necessarily a better player, but just a bigger star, if you know what I'm saying.
I hear what you mean. Yeah, no, for sure. But yeah, they're they better close it out. They could either play Leverkusen or Atletico Madrid in their next round, and they
Hmm.
actually just played Atletico Madrid in La Liga, and they tied 1-1. I've like been saying that I like this Atletico team. They've been playing really well as of late,
Yep.
and I mean, especially in the Champions League. I forgot what they went into this new format. Um, yeah, fifth overall. That's not terrible, but yeah, Barcelona. I'll give them their credit too. They've been playing really well in the Champions League. Um, Arsenal as well, but yeah, I really think Real Madrid can make a push for it still, of course. I'll never count them out, but it'll be real interesting. PSG, they
PSG.
they put a whopping.
Yeah, but French teams never win the Champions League.
Yeah, that's true. Isn't there one? I thought there was one French team.
Yeah, Olympique Marseille won it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Let's see. OM
If I
Champions
had
League.
to guess, I'd say in like the 80s or something.
Yeah, yes, it was in the 80s. I'm just or no, 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 it wasn't in the 80s. Sorry. I believe
70s?
it was either late 80s or early 90s, I believe.
Uh,
93.
really? Oh,
Yep.
wow.
Yep, yep, yep. The current coach of the French national team actually played on that Marseille team.
Oh, wow, really? That's
Yeah,
crazy.
DJ Deschamps.
The champs?
Deschamps.
That's champs, yeah.
Yeah, I absolutely hate watching. Well, I don't hate watching soccer in English. I hate watching the French national team play with an English commentator.
Oh, yeah.
Because
They're never gonna get that right.
there's nothing more butchering than hearing your name pronounced by one of those commentators.
Yeah,
So,
it is pretty bad, but um now PSG, they could either put it's not looking great, but it's Barca or Liverpool for them because I think
hmm
they barely made in that last spot to make it like to the next round. Yeah. Yeah, they're in that last ranked spot, but I don't know. Barca or Liverpool, that's a pretty hard that's not necessarily easy
right.
for them, but they're doing exceptionally well considering the cards that they've been dealt, losing Messi, losing Neymar losing, Mbappe, like everybody. You know what I mean?
No, 100%. I mean, I don't think you realize the amount of superstars that have been through Paris Saint-Germain in the
Hmm.
past few years. So let me just name two huge international superstars that you didn't even mention: Edison Cavani,
True.
Zlatan Ibrahimovic.
Yeah, that was the one that's pretty big. I wanted one of his jerseys so bad. A PSG one or an AC Milan one would be really cool too. But yeah,
Everyone got the AC Milan though. That's the thing. That was
that's
really his
true.
team. That
Yeah,
was
he went to United for a little bit. I could get a United Ibra.
right,
That'd be pretty cool. He didn't do too much, but it'd still be pretty cool.
man. What an absolute star in the 2010s.
Hmm.
Not even in the late 2000s, really. Just overall,
Yeah,
superstar, superstar.
crazy that
Um,
he never was able to do it. He doesn't have a Champions League, unfortunately. But
so I'm looking at the bracket a little bit deeper and seeing that if the cards play right, there's a chance that Real Madrid plays Arsenal in that what would that be in the 16 in round 16, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. No, in the quarterfinals. Sorry,
wait, who plays Arsenal?
there's a chance that Real Madrid plays Arsenal.
Oh, really?
Yes, Real Madrid would have to if they beat Atletico
Oh, I
or
got you.
Leverkusen, then they end up against either Arsenal, Milan, or PSV.
I
Inter
got you.
Milan. Internazionale.
Internationale. Another team you can't play with in FIFA or FC anymore. They like it's weird. These teams have individual rights that I had no idea about when it comes to like video games and stuff. Like they
So
can just
it's different
choose.
from 2K in a sense that over there it's each player can choose to sell their rights to 2K or not.
Really?
Yeah, that's why you don't see Charles Barkley. You can play with the Suns. You can play with the all-time Suns team, but
Uh-huh.
your starting power forward will be Sean Marion or Amari Stoudemire or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, they
I
just
had no
never he
idea.
just didn't sell his rights to them.
Huh.
There's someone else, I believe, that's pretty big. I'm not sure. But yeah, so I don't know. The from what I'm seeing on this bracket, the quarterfinals could be pretty interesting.
Mhm. No,
Could
absolutely.
be pretty interesting.
I think Bayern Munich aren't going to really make it out. They've been playing like crap. They're just not the
Um,
same.
so do you think they would lose in the quarterfinals, or do you think they could make it at least to the semis? Because
I think if they get Leverkusen, they have a better chance
hmm
than Madrid. But if it's Madrid, undoubtedly, I think Atletico is going to go through. But yeah, they're not good at the moment. They're not good form. I don't even think that they're. I could be wrong, but I don't think that they're winning Bundesliga right now,
right.
which is insane to say. Oh, I know they are. They're actually doing pretty damn good. They're about three three games in front. So take back what I just said.
Well, they're typically the only ones really competing for that Bundesliga title.
True.
Um,
Very true. But like, yeah, their last matchup, like this round that they just finished yesterday against Celtic, they only won on aggregate 3-2, and
hmm
that's Celtic. You know what I mean? It's
right.
not. It's not one of these bigger teams that are going to be a lot harder to face.
Um, so just to go back to what this all started with. This game that we saw yesterday. Do you think that this is like the final form of Mbappe in Madrid? Because his start was a little bit rocky.
Very, very rocky. I forgot how many games he went without a goal, but it was
Right.
an absurd amount. Yeah.
But it as of late, it seems like he's been more involved. And I don't know. It's not like I'm seeing less attention to him. Like I'm still seeing the same amount of people focusing on him. And it still just seems like one on one, he just does whatever he wants. If it's one on one with a defender, he's gonna get a decent shot on goal. He had,
Hmm.
I think, three decent shot on goals that didn't go in. That were stopped by the keeper. That were on target per se.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I just think they finally got that chemistry going on. Like, you see it happen with a lot of big clubs. Like, I mean, you saw it with Neymar and Cavani. When Neymar first went over to PSG, they were like arguing over who's going to take that penalty, like almost every single time. And
Right.
I think in the beginning, him and Vinny weren't necessarily like on the same page
Mm-hmm.
because Vinny was always the person to go down and take the shots for Madrid at this point. But it's just like almost too much all-star power, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but now that they finally figured it out, sky's the limit. They're still in the Champions League. They barely eked by that, like, I forgot what it was called. That first, like, where they played everybody. Like, they have a different type of format now where it's like group play, but they play almost every single team.
Okay.
And that was a little rocky for them, but now that they've figured it out, I think that they could win. There's no doubt in my mind that they could win unless Barcelona or Liverpool can do something about it. I just don't see any other team really putting up a challenge against them.
And so there's one thing that I found very interesting that was said by one of the commentators for the game. That I don't know if you noticed, but recently Madrid had been playing Chouameni at
Mm-hmm.
over on the defensive line,
Mm-hmm.
and he in France at least he always plays when he plays for the national team he's in the midfield,
Mm-hmm.
and he's really fucking good in the midfield.
Yeah.
And so he literally just told Madrid, "Hey, can you change? Like, can you not play me where you want to play me?" Which props to him just to have the balls to go up to such a big club when you're not the biggest
Yeah.
superstar on the club and be like, yeah, don't play me at the position that you think I'm best at, because trust me, that's not it.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that's gonna be the main thing moving forward into this Champions League for Real. Um, it's gonna be that strong midfield,
Mm-hmm. No, if you don't have a good midfield in the Champions League, you're not going to make it very far unless it's
right?
just
That was the thing with City for those dominant years.
exactly. They had.
Same thing with Liverpool for
Hmm.
a few years. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, you can say so many great things about those two teams that I just talked about their attackers,
Absolutely.
but
Yeah.
it's also the fact that they had an all-star midfield.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, the thing I like about this Madrid team is they're so like versatile. They like you said, they pushed up Chouameni and they put Valverde back at
mhm,
the halfback position, and
right.
like it's just he's one of those players. I've like seen him play wing, outside
Hmm.
mid, central, and then now he's like outside again, and he's just you can do that with him. He's
Did you see something that said that have you seen the what's it called, like the diversity in the amount of positions that Antoine Griezmann has played?
oh yeah, no, he's
Dude,
all
he's played CDM, he's played CM, he's played winger, he's played true striker, he's played,
hmm yeah,
he's played everywhere. Played the
Hmm.
false nine. He's been
I
the guy that kind of stays back in that. And dude,
no,
that's impressive.
he's.
That just shows like, yeah, that versatility is really what you need. And that's no
Hmm.
knock on someone like Chouameni, who his thing is, hey, I'm not versatile. Put me here, and that's how you're gonna get the best out of me.
Yeah.
And there's strengths to both of those sides of that coin.
Hmm. Yeah. No, you gotta have both. You gotta be able to have players that can adapt and players that are good at where they're at
Hmm.
because you don't want you don't want a center back that can also play like I mean, I guess you kind of do want a center back that could also play halfback, but you want your center back to play center back because that's what you need on a good team is like two solid central defenders. Like
Hmm.
no really switching those out or anything. Um, that's what you see what's wrong with United is that they can't figure out those two. Um, they keep having,
There's a couple other things wrong with United, but
yeah.
continue.
I mean, that's just the greatest way to put it. That's the best way that you could put it. But no, I like this Atletico team, and I like Griezmann. It's
Hmm.
crazy how good he's been playing like throughout his career and everything, and how he get left for Barcelona and then he came back to Atletico, and they're
Hmm.
still doing as good as they like were before and everything. I give credit to Diego Simone, the manager there.
Yep.
He's been there for a minute, and he's always played the same type of soccer. Like he is very much park the bus type of guy once you're up by a goal.
Yes.
Um, but it works out for him.
Very. I mean, he's a defensive guy, so
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know
yeah,
he's.
yeah. He was the one who was going up against, I think Zuzu. I think Zuzu doesn't like him or something like that.
It's Zizou.
Zizu, Zizu,
Bro, I thought you were gonna say Zazu for a second. I was.
I'm about to say Za. It's
Z-
Za.
No, Zazu's the guy. He's the one blue fellow from the Lion King.
No,
He's the
wait,
bird.
the bird. Yeah,
Yes,
I'm weak.
yes.
Oh my God.
One last game I do want to cover before we wrap up this Champions League special. Um, Huge props to Brest. I mean, small team. If you had asked anyone, even in France, where in France you know about the town of Brest, no one had them going this far in the Champions League. No one had them winning anything.
Yeah,
I mean, they got clapped. 7-0 by PSG. I mean,
10-0 on aggregate.
yes, on aggregate. Sorry. Um,
Crazy.
yeah, but it is what it
Shout
is.
out.
Little town from Bretagne in the north west region of France. Uh, yeah, it was just great to see them in there. They got absolutely trounced by PSG, but
Yeah.
it
No,
was
it's
good to
cool.
see them in there.
They got a couple of underdogs still in this Champions League. Club Bruges out of Belgium. They played really
100%.
well. I saw some of that game against Atalanta. PSV,
PSV, I was about to say.
Juventus isn't really necessarily a good team. And
Right,
then Feyenoord.
this isn't the Ronaldo Juventus of old.
No, no. I mean, even when Ronaldo was there, they weren't even all that good, to be honest. That
No,
was
true.
that was like the
But they
last.
weren't they weren't I'm not even talking about the quality of the players. I'm talking about the size of the market.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah, they're one of those titans that they have over in Europe.
Hmm.
With they just.
I mean, they were able to sign one of the big at the time. I believe was the biggest transfer signing in the history of all
Hmm.
soccer, and that was, I believe, Paul Pogba
Hmm.
for a couple €100 million. You know,
Man, talk about fucking a player that I miss more than anybody. like it would be him for sure.
I was about to say why, and then I remembered that he played for Man U,
He did, yeah. He didn't get along with any of the managers really there.
right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think the
Uh,
last thing that he did before he left was get a red card against Liverpool, and we lost like 3 or 4 to nothing. But
yeah, that shit happens.
yeah, great player. That's one of the best goals. Everybody's seen it. If you've seen the soccer edit with goals, it's the crazy one with the curve
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
from that angle.
Yep. Where you see it from it right behind Pogba basically, and you kind
Hmm.
of see the
Yeah,
ball curve in.
yeah, that's a goal also. That's up
Uh,
there with
yeah, I remember someone saying something to me along the lines of like, I think I was playing a FIFA game, and he was like, "Bro, all Pogba does is fucking tap ins and headers."
no.
And I paused the FIFA game. I pulled up the YouTube on my computer, and I
Yeah,
just sat him down and just educated the man.
absolutely. He's
I
long
was like,
shot
these
legend.
are bangers, bro.
Yeah.
Bangers.
No. Pogba had a really good run with Juventus. But yeah, no, they just haven't been the same. And I hate to say it because like it's just like true, but Milan and Juventus, like, they're not doing as good. And you
Mm-hmm.
look at the starting lineup, and they got those two American players. They got Weston McKennie over at
Mm-hmm.
Juventus, and they got Pulisic over at Milan. And obviously, it's not on all on them. Pulisic actually has played in who has a Champions League with Chelsea. So,
Yes.
but it's just sad to see that we don't got anybody from the United States that I know of, at least, out of all of these teams that are left.
No, not in the starting
Well,
lineups,
yeah, no,
at
definitely
least.
not. Definitely not
Um,
in the starting lineups.
yeah, but I believe last year was a record. So last year was a record for number of Americans in starting lineups featured on a Champions League team.
Hmm.
So
Yeah. No, it's starting to become a bigger thing for sure over here finally. But I don't know, it seems like the NFL's like got a good chokehold on majority of the youth still
100%,
here.
100%. I mean, so is basketball. So is baseball. Yeah, just
Hmm.
depending on where you are. Because as a guy who lives in Minnesota, trust me, hockey has a big
Oh yeah.
impact on you.
No, for
As-
sure. I remember I was working with this guy. He was from I don't know, forget the name now that we're talking about it, but um I want to say Sao Paulo. That's in Brazil, isn't it?
yes.
I think he was from there, and I asked him, I was like, so why do you think that like there are so many more? Because you look at a college in America,
Hmm.
half of the roster's international. Like they don't even necessarily look for the majority part, like within the United States, to
Right.
find somebody to have a good team. And I asked him, I was like, why do you think like they just look elsewhere? And he was like, because you like look at America and there's like 20 sports that you can play, um, like as a youth.
Whoa, hold on. We lost your sound trip. Well, I guess what Trip was really kind of trying to say is that with the abundance of sports that we have here here in America, with the abundance of sports that you have here in America, when you're picking a kid, you have no idea what he's been doing for the first 15 years of his life, right? When you start looking at him for college, versus that Brazilian kid, you know exactly what sport he's been playing for those first 15 years of his life for that developmental period. Um, yeah, sports wise, and that's just an advantage that other countries have over the United States. And it is with this technical difficulty that we are going to end this very special Champions League edition of Balls Out Sports Podcast. Yeah, we'll be back in April a little bit before the next stage, before the round of 16. And we'll talk about those games as they come up, and I'm really excited for it. But yeah, this impolite guy isn't going to say goodbye to you guys, but I will say peace, and we will catch you guys on the flip side. Deuces.